For absence, please, Town Clerk.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. We have apologies from Councillors Hughes, Venning, Hipsey and Mrs Moody. And Councillor Hutton will be late.
Thank you very much. Item 2, declarations of interest. To receive disclosures of unregistered or other interests from councillors on matters to be considered at the meeting. So you are to declare the interest either now or as soon as you become aware of it during the course of the meeting. I have an interest to declare 3771/25/OPA in the DM&L minutes, which will be discussed, I think, at length at this meeting. The application and the land that's being discussed is in the name of some relatives of mine, so I will be leaving the meeting during the course of the DM&L minutes, and Councillor Ward, as the previous past mayor, has very kindly agreed to chair the meeting in my absence. Any other declarations of interest, please? No. Item 3, minutes of council meeting. To confirm the minutes of the meeting of Tavistock Town Council held on Tuesday the 20th of January. First of all, they have been widely circulated. Can we have a proposer that these are a true record, please? Thank you. And a seconder, Councillor Moody, thank you. Any matters arising? Right, those in favour of the minutes, please show.
Carried.
Thank you. Item 4, matters arising. Were there any matters arising? No. Item 4, public representations and questions. We have not received any for this meeting. Item 5, general finance. The schedule of payments to consider and endorse the monthly accounts as at the 31st of January 2026. And B, the budget monitoring report, which have been circulated and are available on the Town Council website. I believe we had some questions which have been answered on those.
Yes.
Any other comments on those? Can we please note those reports? Thank you. Item 6, Budget and Policy Committee. To consider the minutes of the meeting of the Budget and Policy Committee held on Tuesday the 10th of February. I chaired that meeting, but Councillor Moody, as the Vice Chair, is going to present the minutes, please. Councillor Moody.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. I rise to present the minutes of the Budget and Policy Committee on Tuesday the 10th of February. Number 290, apologies for absence. 291, confirmation of minutes. 292, declaration of interest. 293, annual governance and accountability return, AGAR. And there is a recommendation for that minute. And the recommendation is that the Town Council endorse and adopt the draft information technology policy prepared in conformity with the SAPPP template as a basis for discharge of the relevant part of the obligation as set out in assertion 10. Finally got there.
Thank you.
I move that recommendation.
Thank you. Councillor Munro.
I just thank the officer involved, please, for the hard work she did in putting that together. Hard work. I'd like to thank the officer involved, please, because they did really hard work putting that together. Thank you.
Thank you. So we've got a proposal. Do we have a seconder for that? Councillor Parker, thank you. Any questions, comments, debate? So can we put that to the vote then, please? Those in favour, please show.
Carried.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Number 294, indicative calendar of meetings, 26-27. This is another motion. Recommend that Tavistock Town Council endorse in principle and subject to formal consideration in due course the appended indicative calendar of meetings. I propose that motion.
Thank you, and I'd like to second that. Any questions or comments on that? Right, those in favour, please show.
Carried.
That's carried, thank you.
Right,
Yes, please do.
number 295.
Councillor Moody,
Sorry.
Councillor Ewings is going to ask a question.
Can we put them on our diaries now? No.
You're welcome to, but of course they won't be adopted, or the calendar won't be adopted formally until the annual meeting of council, and we will send out arrangements as we did last year in order to enable members to have them within their diaries.
Having said that, I've written them all in my diary today.
I see, I knew. See, I know.
Councillor Moody.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. 295, UK Town of Culture. Wait a minute. I've got to sit down for this. Right. Recommendation that the Tavistock Town Council nominate up to 2 members to act as liaison with the steering committee. I move that motion.
Thank you. There have been some meetings which members here have attended, because otherwise we would have missed the boat if we'd waited to come here to full council, because this group has been meeting on a weekly basis. At Budget and Policy, the 2 people who were who volunteered, I think, to put their name forward were myself as the chair and Councillor Moody as the vice chair of Budget and Policy. I'm happy not to be there if anybody's got a really great wish to be involved in this. This at the moment is putting together the expression of interest to become a town of culture. That has to be done by the 31st of March, so the timeline is very, very tight. There's a group of people working on it, meet on a Friday morning for about an hour to take things forward. Anybody got any questions? So you made a proposal, I'm happy to second that. Do we have any other nominations for people to take part in this? Bearing in mind there's probably only another 3 weeks worth, 4 weeks worth. Are you happy to endorse that Councillor Moody and myself do it? Those in favour, please show.
Carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. Unfortunately, I was planning tomorrow we're having a pre-meeting. Unfortunately, I've got to go to Exeter for a a Devon waste group meeting all day, so unfortunately I've given my apologies. I'm really annoyed because I wanted to be involved tomorrow, but that's the way life is. 296, Abbey Remains Project. The recommendation is that the Tavistock Town Council receive, review and adopt the project governance document and associated approach, including timetable for action, procurement and decision-making arrangements associated with the above initiative, and B, authorise the General Manager to undertake the day-to-day aspect of the operation and management of the project and on behalf of the Council. And thank you very much to to Wayne for the information that was provided at the meeting and the mud map to show who is responsible for everything. So I move that motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder, please? Councillor Smith, thank you. Any questions? Debate? So we have a motion that's been proposed and seconded. Those in favour, please show.
Carried.
Thank you.
297, Internal Audit Auditor. 298, Item Circulator for Information Only, Local Government Reorganisation in Devon. 299, Urgent Matters brought forward at the discretion of the Chair. Planning and Development in Tavistock. All right, I better sit down for this. I can't read my screen terribly well standing up.
Okay, thank you. I think we need just to pop back to 298, and the town clock's got some different dates.
Sorry, 298?
298 is Local Government Reorganisation in Devon.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. Yes, if I could just provide an update. As you'll see, the consultation has recently come out with regard to reorganisation in Devon. We have a local government reorganisation and devolution working group, but because of the timings, if we're going to actually be able to feed into the next council cycle, which we have to in order to be able to respond to the government's consultation, we need to fit that in before the next meeting of budget and policy. So effectively, it can do the grunt work. It then goes to Budget and Policy Committee to refine and make a recommendation to Council at the end of March. Therefore, having consulted with both the Chairman of Budget and Policy and the Chairman of the Devolution and LGR Working Group, what we're mooting to do is take the current date, which is scheduled for the next Budget and Policy meeting, which is the 10th of March, instead have a meeting of the LGR and Devolution Working Group on that day, and then Budget and Policy will be taken forward to the 16th. So Budget and Policy will slip to the following Monday, and the Devolution and LGR Working Group will take place on the day that otherwise was scheduled for Budget and Policy. That enables fully informed proposal to go before Council at the end of the month.
Right, thank you for that.
And that, we've done 300, and then we're in part 2 after that. Thank you.
We'll pick the rest of that up in part 2 when we get to it later on the meeting. So now we move to items... Sorry.
I have a question.
Oh, right, thank you.
That you, having introduced 299, you then jumped over at the same time, Councillor.
Microphone, please, Councillor Parker.
Sorry, thank you. Yes, the meeting referred to in 299 should have happened about half an hour ago. It hasn't, but has any arrangements been made to re-hold it, please?
Town Clerk.
We have offered dates to the local planning authority to precede either meetings of the Development Management and Licensing Committee or the next meeting of Council. I'm just going to look at my colleague as I speak. We haven't received a response to the offer of those dates yet.
I'm grateful, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Parker. Thank you, Councillor Moody. So we move now on to item 7, Development Management and Licensing Committee, at which stage I will remove myself from the chamber and Councillor Ward will take the chair.
Good evening, members. It feels odd being back in this seat. We're now about to go through the Development Management and Licensing Committee minutes of the 27th, was it, of January and the 17th of February. This is going to be slightly messy because there is one particular issue which basically spans both of those meetings, but hopefully it will become clear as we go through it. So if I could turn to Councillor Barry Smith to start with the 27th of January, please.
Thank you, Councillor Ward. I rise to present the minutes of the Development Management and Licensing Committee held here on the 27th of January. 280, apologies for absence, 281, confirmation of minutes, 282, declarations of interest, 283, Dartmoor National Park Authority, 284, town planning issues, 285, National Planning Policy Framework. Now, on that item, we requested that a member, councillor, undertook the changes, to outline the changes on this. Would you like a verbal update on that now?
I think that would be helpful, yes, thank you.
Okay, and then I would ask Councillor Parker if he could give us a brief outlook so that we can understand more fully than it was.
Yeah, this of course, this also arises in minute 307 of the following meeting. National Planning Policy Framework, a new draft has been published for consultation finishing in the first week of March. 127 pages. A heck of a lot of changes. This is a new planning system. But what I've tried to do is to draw out half a dozen issues that are going to be key for Tavistock. First issue. There's a new level being introduced back into the development plan. The Conservative Liberal government in 2010 removed strategic planning. The strategic planning level is back again. This time it's back on a planning authority basis, and as far as I can see, the authority that would be responsible for producing the strategic plan in this area would be the combined authority of Devon and Torbay, as it is at the moment, and then presumably new arrangements will be made after local government reorganisation. Local plan stays pretty well as it is, making allocations, and the neighbourhood plan carries on as it is, retaining the ability to identify sites and to set out local infrastructure needs. One absolutely major change is that if there are any conflicting policies between those plans, this NPPF takes absolute precedence. So for the first time, we've got a national plan. If we try to depart from that national plan at the local level, it'll be a waste of time, because the NPPF will overrule it. That is a major, major change. It's never been the situation before. I'm not saying it's bad, it's just new. Second, West Devon's got 30 months to prepare their local plan. However, they can't start that until they've completed what's referred to as a Gateway 1 self-assessment, which basically explains to the Secretary of State that they've got the resources, the ability, the knowledge, and the cooperation necessary to carry out the plan. As I understood it last week, and Councillor Ewing's confirmed that hasn't been done yet. So the clock isn't yet running on West Devon's 30 months. Latest guesstimate is that from where we are now, probably the West Devon local plan, in whatever form it takes, will be about 3 years in the making, which makes some of the other aspects of this NPPF more important for Tavistock. Now, the new framework's policies begin by saying the development plan must provide for objectively assessed needs for housing and other uses that protect, unless the policies that protect assets of particular importance provide a strong reason for restricting the scale, type and distribution of development. So it's not just a question anymore of saying, well, the joint local plan said a third goes to Oakhampton, a third goes to Tavistock, and a third gets distributed around West Devon, as the current local plan says. No, if there is a good reason for restricting because of its impact on an asset of particular importance, then that can restrict the amount of development due to any particular settlement. And the World Heritage Site is identified as one such reason. It's very clear there in the NPPF. Number 4. I don't know how I feel about this one. The development plan should set clear expectations about where development is located and where land should be protected or enhanced for specific purposes. As part of this, the plan should identify settlement boundaries. Now you'll remember that the neighbourhood plan team and West Devon officers advised the Town Council not to identify a settlement boundary on the grounds it's unnecessary and that those promoting it, i.e. me, were out of date and out of touch. Now it's ironic that this is now a requirement of government policy, one that isn't included in either the existing local plan or the neighbourhood plan. We need to update the neighbourhood plan urgently. Number 5. The NPPF, interestingly, contains 2 policies dealing with development in the countryside that reflect very, very closely policies TTV 26 and TTV 27 of the joint local plan. Those are the ones affecting countryside and sites on the edge of countryside. There is really, at the moment, great alignment between the local plan and this draft NPPF, and it may not take much to bring them into complete alignment. We'll come on to that as we discuss various developments. Finally, the transport policies of the NPPF require local authorities to take account of the cumulative impact of development on the highway network, not just development by development. Now, a lot of people have been pushing for that in this town now for some time, with sites appearing all over the place. Well, now it's part of national policy. Must, excuse me, look at cumulative development, not just the impact of development by development. Now, I'm sure that developers will, well, they already are welcoming this version of the NPPF as opening up the planning process, but there's also a lot in this document that gives strength to local communities. Clearest messages to take away: 1, we need to get a settlement boundary and development criteria in place as a matter of urgency. 2, we need to build an evidence base on infrastructure needs and keep it up to date without delay. Now you'll see that at the same time as people in this town are crying out about the shortage of school places, doctors, dentists and such like, the Education Department and the NHS are saying there's no problem. There's plenty of doctor space, plenty of dentist space, plenty of spaces in the schools. They can't, those views can't be both right. It's important that we get an evidence base that we can all rely on. And finally, this is my view, but I think it's also the view now of the DM&L committee, we need urgently to persuade the county to create a traffic model for Tavistock so that we can understand the impact of each development individually and cumulatively on Tavistock's highway network. When you think about it, there are a lot of roads in Tavistock. They're all Victorian or earlier, but actually everything piles in on half a dozen key points: the Spa roundabout, Drake's, Pixon Lane, between the banks, Russell Street, and the roundabout outside Godolphin House. Those are the ones where all the sites that are being mooted in and around Tavistock, there are none in, mooted around Tavistock, they will all pile into those junctions and roundabouts. Every single one of them is in the World Heritage Site. So the opportunities to improve the access to them, the junctions, improve the roundabouts themselves, really don't exist without harming the World Development Site. This is the point that our MP, Geoffrey Cox, is taking up with the county. The DM&L committee believed, and we actually discussed it, believed that this is important. And I hope that the council, the full council, will take the same view. Now, that's a quick run through the new draft NPPF as it affects Tavistock. I'm not suggesting that we make any comments because all the parish councils now are compiling comments to go to the government. But I'm suggesting that we take note of these key points. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Councillor Parker. Before we move on, do any members have any questions they'd like to put to Councillor Parker? Councillor Moody.
Just the one question is the timing on the implementation of the new NPPF. I understand it's suggesting it will be in spring this year. Is there any indication of when?
Yeah, I've checked. The consultation finishes March the 10th. They are expecting to have the NPPF in force by the end of the summer break. So, the beginning of the summer break, so the end of the summer session. So yes, they'll, and its provisions will take effect from day one. It's not going to be phased in like previous ones have.
Thank you.
Yeah, Councillor Hutton.
I think just as a council, the thing I need to know is we've decided, or we're thinking, we need to talk about settlement boundaries, we need to talk about the cumulative effect on highways. Do we need to get things moving, and what do we need to do now to get things moving?
Well, I can only answer for myself now. Yeah, I think it's probably the most urgent thing on our planning agenda should be the reconvening of the neighbourhood plan steering group and starting off a formal review covering two things. One, settlement boundaries and development criteria, because we can't allocate sites, we haven't got the time or the knowledge or the resources for that. But what we can do is indicate through the neighbourhood plan the kind of sites that would be unacceptable, and we are entitled to do that. And the second thing is to work with the other two local authorities and the NHS and the other providing organisations to actually build an infrastructure database, so that at any given time we can indicate what the needs are in this town properly, rather than have the argument to and fro. Those are the two things I think we should be getting on with pretty damn quick.
How do we do it?
Councillor Moody.
Thank you, Mr. Past Mayor. Chair. Just one question. With this traffic assessment, I've spoken to people locally who ask the question, is there, with the development that's happening at Tavistock, is there a requirement, and could it be involved in this assessment of the possibility of a bypass for Tavistock? So I'll just throw that one in. Thank you.
There are two things involved in traffic assessment. One is understanding the current situation. What traffic is going where, when, how much, and what kind. So the survey work is the key thing. Then you can use it for almost any traffic-related purpose. You look at a planning application and say, well, the impact of this on that is unacceptable. Is there another answer? The impact of this and that. Once you start looking at 2, 3, 4 sites together, is that acceptable? If not, is there an answer? And that's when the answers start getting looked for. If you remember, I don't think there are many in this room who would remember, but when the Bovis application first came in, it came in with a bypass. Because they couldn't think of any other way of building 750 houses and taking all that traffic through Spa. So they were proposed a bypass. For various reasons that got dropped and replaced by a railway. Now, talking about solutions, the railway is said, amongst many other things, to be capable of taking traffic off the road in Tavistock. So one thing you would do with this traffic model, you would run every traffic assessment against a with railway assessment and a without railway scenario. Yeah, so, but first of all, the key thing is to build the model.
So how, Mr. Ex-Mayor, are we now going to move it forward? I mean, do we ask the town clerk, what do we do? I just feel, you know, we've got to grasp this, haven't we? And we
I
can't just
think
keep
before we
talking.
attempt to answer that question, I think we just do need to remind ourselves, and for the benefit of anybody who's watching this and the members of the public in the room, that the Town Council is not the local planning authority. The local planning authority is West Devon Borough Council. The Town Council is consulted about planning applications, and clearly the better we understand the planning landscape, the rules and the regulations, the better we can give our view and with greatest strength. But the sort of task that Councillor Parker has set out cannot be accomplished by the Town Council alone.
The neighbourhood plan is ours, though, isn't it?
No, that's exactly the point I was going to make. Yes, I mean, when I say we need to build a traffic model, the responsibility for that lies firmly with the County Council. But it would help if the Town Council put their weight behind the case for a traffic model. It would help even more if West Devon put the case behind their weight behind the case for a traffic model. It would certainly help if we could find and it's been done many times in my experience, find a way of getting the developers to contribute towards the cost of it. So yes, I agree that part of it is beyond us, apart from the championing and lobbying functions. But neighbourhood plan, that's firmly in our remit.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other comments, please, before we move on to the next item? I think we'll be coming back to some of these issues shortly.
Today, you mean, or?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, right, that's fine.
Councillor Smith, please.
Thank you, Mr. Palace Mayor, as it seems to be the title suits on there. Thank you, Councillor Parker. On that, sir. We pass on to 286, general correspondence, 287, urgent business brought forward at the discretion of the chairman, of which there were none, and on to 288, planning applications, little a, planning decisions by West Devon Borough Council, and B, new planning applications. It is recommended that our views be passed on to the local planning authority for their consideration. I'll move that, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. And just by way of explanation, this recommendation does not include the Callington Road application, which we will be discussing in depth very shortly. So this relates to all of those other applications that DMNL considered on that occasion. And it is our standard recommendation to pass our views up to the local planning authority. So, Councillor Parker?
Seconded.
Okay, thank you. So it's been proposed and seconded. All in favour, please show. Thank you very much. Councillor Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, or Mr. Passman. It's very difficult to change the way you do things. We do have one on here that is resolved that the town clerk be requested to write to the Chief Legal Officer of West Devon seeking clarification. Mr. Clark, do you want to take that now, or do you wait until the second one, because we have had updates, haven't we?
I can report on it now if you wish.
To clear that would be a good idea. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman, Mr. Mayor. Yes, because the committee instructed me to write, I wrote on the 30th of January to the Head of Legal Services and Monitoring Officer, received a response yesterday evening, Now, the request essentially was a fairly detailed request, which was seeking clarification in relation, in particular, to the interpretation, application and status of paragraph 11.46 of the Joint Local Plan supplementary planning document and its relationship to policies TTV 26 and TTV 27. In essence, which takes precedence and what is the status of these. So I say that was quite a detailed one. I don't know whether you want me to read the responses and the communications we had since yesterday and today. They're fairly short, so I'll just run through them if that's agreeable to you. The response was, thank you for your letter dated 30th January 2026, which I received on 5th February. While I appreciate the Town Council seeking my advice, you will understand that as I am the legal advisor of the Borough Council, as the local planning authority, it would be inappropriate to advise the Town Council or to comment further, particularly in view of there being a live application. I responded to say, thank you for your email, which we reported to Council this evening, because I picked it up today. I'm sure we share the view that it would be a matter of concern if any application, least of all a major application, might fall to be determined by the LPA in the absence of professional advice on the proper construction of a borough-wide local plan policy whose interpretation had become open to significant uncertainty, most especially when material questions regarding operability and interpretation have been brought to its attention in a constructive and timely manner, and the potential consequences both for current and future development in this town and across the local plan area more widely are so significant. I have no doubt the Town Council, also as partner authority to the LPA and with responsibility for the applicable neighbourhood development plan, would welcome early transparency and clarity regarding how the LPA interprets its own policy in this regard, alongside the due diligence it has applied in coming to that conclusion in connection with the points raised. Of course, if this question has not yet been considered by the LPA as you intimate, and it is your intention to first report the matter to it, then whilst disappointed that you feel unable to be clear on this point of public interest at this stage, your clarification once the application to which you refer has been determined would be appreciated. Thank you in anticipation of your assistance. I shall contact you again should any further points or instructions arise at Council this evening. To which he responded to say, thank you for your email. To be clear, I was replying to you having regard to my professional obligations as solicitor of the council. Those professional obligations mean I cannot provide the Town Council with legal advice, which is what your letter asked me to do. Can I suggest that for reasons of openness and transparency, the Town Council may wish to include the matters set out in your letter to me as part of its representation on the application? And the latest response was from me to him. Thank you for your email. I apologise if where the letter was clumsily framed. To clarify the position, the Town Council is seeking clarification on how the local planning authority interprets its own policy in view of the questions that have been posed as matters of planning law. A hopefully straightforward matter of partnership working, public interest and access to information in the interest of the community we serve. As you will appreciate, this is not just about one application, that is solely an example, but the integrity and applicability of a plan-wide policy. It fully appreciates that it could not, other than on a contractual basis, instruct you to act on its behalf, and in any event not in a situation where that might compromise your obligations to your employer. I can confirm that was not the intention and apologise for any confusion. I trust this clarifies things. If there are any questions, please don't hesitate to let me know. The Council looks forward to hearing from you in due course.
Thank you. Councillor Parker.
Thank you, Town Clerk. That's disappointing but helpful. Now, it's taken, as I calculate, the Chief Legal Officer 3 weeks to reply saying he can't reply.
Yeah, basically.
That being the case, and I think I see the logic behind what he says, but that leaves us in something of a, I don't know, vacuum. I am certainly convinced, on the basis of all my experience, that the part of the supplementary planning document that effectively erases the key policies of the key countryside policies of the joint local plan are ultra vires. They are outside the law. It is unlawful, and if we can resolve that matter, then we all begin to understand where we stand on every planning application that's affected by policies TTV 26 and TTV 27. So my first suggestion, and I'm willing to make it a formal proposal, is that we set in train seeking a formal legal opinion from a planning lawyer, an independent planning lawyer, whether that's a solicitor or a barrister, and that we seek that as a matter of urgency. That's number one. Number two, the Chief Legal Officer seems to be fixated on this applying to an application. Nothing could be further from the truth. It applies to every town and village in South Hams and West Devon that falls within what they call Tier 1 and Tier 2. That is Dartmouth, Ivybridge, Kingsbridge, Oakhampton, Tavistock, Totnes, Bere Alston, Chillington, Dartington, Hatherley, Lifton, Modbury, North Taunton, Saltcombe, Stokenham, Yalpton. I won't read out the next level because there's about 4 times as many settlements in there, but every single one of those is affected by this this part of the supplementary planning document, i.e. their protection of TTV 26 and TTV 27 is effectively removed. So my second suggestion is that we make the clerks of all of those authorities aware of the correspondence and why this is concerning. Now, I think in many ways it basically just needs the letter that was passed between the town clerk and the Chief Legal Officer, and a short explanation from the town clerk. I hope that it shouldn't take a huge amount of work, but I think it's about time that we alerted all the other settlements to the problem. Finally, this is a kind of plea from the heart. May I suggest that, in view of the fact that the Chief Legal Officer, probably quite rightly, has said he's unable to advise the town council because we're not his clients, as it were, can I ask our twin hatters to put their other hat on and ask the Chief Legal Officer the same question? Because with their other hat on, they are his clients and they are entitled to an answer, and that answer should be made public. So I can't make that one a proposal, but I do put it on the table that it would help, I think, if our twin hatters were to formally get together and ask the Chief Legal Officer to give them his opinion. Thank you.
I'm going to ask the clerk to advise us on the way forward.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think we've got some different moving parts there. In terms of the formal legal advice, because this is a council meeting and it's not tabled on the agenda, we can't actually make a decision that we're going to seek that at this stage. But you can absolutely, if it is the will of this meeting, indicate that you would wish the next meeting of the DM&L committee to consider that, and if it wished to make a recommendation, then it'll come back to council in a month's time, and that will afford you the opportunity to determine that from that point of view.
Councillor Parker?
I so indicate that we do just that.
Is that at the will of you all?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And then the next component is in relation to the communication with either the Category 2 or wider category of councils that you've referenced. I guess the question that I would ask is whether or not that is most helpfully sequential before or after you've actually sought the legal advice. I'm not anticipating it's going to take a long time to get the legal advice once it's authorised, bearing in mind that if we do it beforehand, then we're going to have to communicate again afterwards in terms of what that legal advice is and where it goes. And of course, in the meantime, if West Devon South Hams members have actually got clarification from their own authority as to how that authority is going to interpret its own policies, bearing in mind we've got a major application on the agenda here where no doubt that question will be asked of officers in public at the meeting when the application itself falls to be determined, we may actually have a view beforehand from the local planning authority. I'm going to express a view as an officer now. I can't see any reason, put it this way, the local planning authority is aware of this, it's been raised with them. It's been drawn to the attention of their chief legal officer. Their planning members are aware of it. Their planning portfolio holder is aware of it. It is probably unthinkable that they're not now going to address it when it's been brought to their attention and it's directly relevant to this planning application. Therefore, there may be a degree of self-resolution as they are, if you like, on alert in relation to it. It may be something they've already thought of and it's already been addressed, but they aren't in a position to share that yet. But they're going to have to when they deal with this, when they deal with the planning application we're coming to in a moment. So there's a question of whether or not you want to just hold fire in relation to that or do it beforehand, and if so, what the sequencing actually is.
I think it's a very, very sensible question. My suggestion is that alerting the clerks and the other relevant settlements is something that could happen now, just to let them know it is happening. It'll be another 3 weeks before budget and policy, another week or so to get the briefing done. So that can happen between now and budget and policy. So at least everybody else knows that we're taking a lead on it and can be alerted to what's happening. In the meantime, you're quite right, it might resolve itself, in which case in that period the budget and policy resolution may not be needed. But I think if we put the budget and policy suggestion in place, write to the other councils now and keep our fingers crossed that the members of West Devon Borough Council will get an answer, I think that's a reasonably good way forward.
Thank you. I'm going to move us on as we move from the general towards the specific now. The issue of the Callington Road application has been considered twice in 2 separate meetings of the DMNL committee. A set of recommendations came out of the meeting of the 27th of January, to which I refer you as much for information as anything, because those recommendations are included and amplified in the recommendations that came out of the 17th of February. And the latter recommendations we will invite the chair of the DMNL committee to read out in full. So over to you, Barry. Play it however you wish.
Reading this out, I wish I'd brought my strepsils with me, so that might be quite good. I will just finish off, because that's the way it is. It's 289.
The question was about the status really of the recommendations and the resolutions on the 27th of January in relation to Callington Road. May I suggest that we adopt both and then leave it to the town clerk and his team to merge the two into a coherent whole. I have a feeling that there are a couple of subtle differences between the two, and it's better if we get a resolution on both and then leave it to the clerk.
Okay then, and I've conferred with the clerk and that seems a reasonable way forward. Therefore, we have a recommendation from the 27th of January. It's available on the council's website. It's in the public domain, so I don't think we need to read it all out. But simply, if I could move that we accept that recommendation, if we have a seconder, and all those in favour, please show.
Carried.
Thank you. In which case you can wrap up the January meeting and we can move on to February.
Yes, item 289, next meeting of the Development Management, which is Tuesday, thank you, Tuesday the 17th of February, and that follows directly. Thank you, Councillor Ward. On there. I stay standing to present the Development Management Licence Committee minutes on Tuesday the 17th of February. 302, apologies for absence. 303, confirmation of minutes. 304, declarations of interest. 305, Dartmoor National Park Authority. 306, town planning issues. 307, National Planning Policy Framework, which we have already covered.
No.
It would be more expedient to, it's always handy to have it like twice on there.
Councillor Smith, there is a recommendation relating to that, isn't there? Top of page 2.
That's it, Mr Mayor. I just moved on to that. Recommend that Tavistock Town Council receive the report as circulated on there, and I'll move that, Mr Mayor.
Thank you very much. Seconder?
Secondly, did everybody get a copy of the notes?
I don't have one.
If they haven't been to we will recirculate to all members then, in that case. My apologies, they should have been.
So all in favour, please show. Thank you very much.
Right, 308, general correspondence. 309, urgent business brought forward at the discretion of the chair, which there is none. 310, planning applications, little a, planning decisions by West Devon Borough Council, and little b, new planning applications. It's recommended that the views of the Town Council, with exception to application 3771, oblique 25, oblique OPA, see below, it says in brackets, as listed in Appendix B, be passed to the local planning authority for consideration. This is all of the main body, with the exception of 3771, which is Cunnington Road on there.
Yeah.
Right. Application 3771.
Well, so that recommendation has been moved. Can I have a seconder, please? All in favour, please show.
Carried.
And now we move on to the big application, and I suspect the thing that is most interesting the members of the public who are with us this evening. Over to you, Barry.
Read this out, Mr Mayor, or Mr Vice Mayor, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Right. Application number 3771, oblique 25, oblique OPA. Note this represented a reapplication on an amended basis to the application previously considered by the committee, which minute number 288 little b refers. Recommended that Tavistock Town Council objects to the application on the grounds set out below. The principle of development in the countryside is defined by paragraph 5.5 of the Joint Local Plan, the JLP. The proposal met none of the relevant criteria of JLP policy TTV 26 or the emerging National Planning Policy Framework, the NPPF, draft policy S1 in brackets 1 close brackets, and was therefore contrary to the development plan and emerging national policy. The lack of demonstrated housing need and an inappropriate housing mix. The proposal did not align with the most up-to-date evidence submitted with the Tavistock Neighbourhood Plan and failed to meet the housing mix requirements of Joint Local Plan Policy TTV 27. This conflicted with the development plan and emerging NPPF draft policy S1 in brackets 1 little j close brackets. The status and weight of the JLP supplementary planning document, concern was expressed that paragraphs 11.44 to 11.49 of the SPD on which the applicant relied heavily were asserted by the council to be ultra vires in that they effectively rewrote JLP policies TTV 26 and TTV 27. This would conflict with Regulation 8 in brackets 3 of the Town and County Planning, Local Planning England Regulations 2012, which states that supplementary planning documents must not conflict with the adopted development plan. The cumulative transport and highways impact. The proposal did not demonstrate that development of this scale would be accommodated, taking into account the availability and capacity of transport infrastructure. This conflicted with emerging NPPF draft policy TR7. In particular, reference was made to the cumulative impact on Tavistock's highway network arising from this development, together with the remaining homes at the Tors and development at New Lawson Road, Butcher Park Hill, Violet Lane and Plymouth Road, along with any other developments coming forward prior to determination. The need for comprehensive transport modelling and assessment. It was considered necessary that cumulative impacts be assessed under both with railway and no railway scenarios, and that a town-wide traffic model be developed with financial input from developers to ensure developments could be assessed both individually and cumulative. The adequacy of supporting infrastructure. The proposal did not demonstrate that development of this scale could be accommodated taking into account existing and proposed infrastructure, including medical, educational and bus transport provision. This conflicted with emerging NPPF draft policy S1 in brackets 1J, which required infrastructure provision to support sustainable development. The local planning authority requested to give full consideration to the cumulative transport infrastructure and policy impacts identified, together with the lawfulness and weight to be applied to the relevant supplementary planning document provision.
Thank you very much. I think that we don't need the footnotes, I don't think.
Do you want the resolution?
Let's have the resolution at the bottom, yes, please.
Resolved that the town clerk again write to the legal officer of the local planning authority, together with the leader of the borough council, seeking a response to Paris correspondence on this increasingly urgent matter. And that, Mr. Mayor, has already been covered by...
Yeah, okay. Thank you. A long and complicated recommendation. So firstly, Barry, I assume you're moving the recommendation.
I am.
A seconder?
Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Parker. Members, do you want to ask any questions or add anything to what you've heard? Councillor Parker.
Thank you. I guess the committee anticipated the response from the Chief Legal Officer, which is why the recommendation on the second bullet point on page 3 is asserting that we believe that the supplementary planning document is ultra vires, it is unlawful. Now, if our Twin Hatton members or any of the West Devon members who look at that are so inclined, then it would be open to them to ask the Chief Legal Officer, is that assertion correct? And if not, why not? So that's another route in to the 3 that we already discussed, and it was put there deliberately to do that. But may I add a recommendation? With respect, it's something that I should have raised at the committee. This application moves quite a lot. You turn around and it's changed. So can I suggest that we add a recommendation C, that Council also requests that Tavistock Town Council be reconsulted if further significant amendments are made or information is supplied to the local planning authority. Just to put it on the record that we do want to keep an ongoing interest.
Can I make a suggestion, and that you take out the word significant? Because that leaves it to somebody else's judgment as to what we need to know about and what we don't need to know about. So if any changes are made...
Yes, okay, that then leaves it open to us being accused of being unreasonable. You know, if they change a word in the description, I'm easy. So long as I think we simply put down the marker that we want to be reconsulted.
Any problems?
We all.
Okay.
And I will withdraw the word significant because
members, you've heard Councillor Parker's suggestion about another point to make. Is it your wish that we do that? Yeah. I will call for a vote on that point, so please indicate if you're in agreement with it. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so we've got a recommendation. It's been... Councillor Moody?
Mr. Mayor, as I'm on the planning committee at West Devon, I think I should not be voting on this particular motion.
Okay, understood. Councillor Ewings?
I would like to say I hope it's been noted I haven't voted on a single thing. No?
Yeah, it has. Okay, let's move to a vote then. You've seen the recommendations, you've heard the additional recommendation. All in... seconding. Councillor Hutton. Right. All in favour, please show.
Carried.
Okay, thank you very much.
With 2 abstentions.
Yes, Councillor Munro.
Are we noting here that we're going to talk about the JLP and the neighbourhood plan at the next DMNO? Is that going to be in this meeting here? In this resolution here?
Councillor Parker and I had a conversation about this probably a week or so ago. We have a commitment, albeit the date has become rather more flexible than we'd anticipated, from the local planning authority to attend and do a presentation to 2 members, which will be on the position in relation to the joint local plan, the relationship to the neighbourhood development plan, the work that potentially we can do together, the work that they're doing and their own timelines in terms of what that is and how that actually plays out, the areas where there are agreement, the areas where there are differences. So I think the building block really for wherever we go in terms of next steps is where there is consensus within that meeting and where there isn't consensus, because that will actually enable us to frame what we need to do, when we need to do, and how. It will also enable us to understand what the extent to which the local planning authority agree with the analysis or not that's been given, and the support that they're prepared to give us, bearing in mind that obviously the neighbourhood development plan has to be in conformity with the local plan, albeit the local plan is no longer wholly in conformity with the national planning policy framework, just to make life interesting. So the suggestion would be we have that presentation. At the point we've had that, I think it will be very, very clear what potentially we may do and how we may do it. As an officer, I would say acting in advance of that actually probably is going to be counterproductive and unhelpful, provided they do meet with us within a reasonable time frame. Clearly, if we're looking at beyond another meeting cycle, I think that then the conversation potentially begins to shift in terms of what that is. Unfortunately, my understanding is that Ms Houselander had an unexpected and urgent planning conference which she was drawn away to, so wasn't able to attend today, and that's the reason why it hasn't happened today. So we've offered, I think, the next couple of DMNL dates on council, have we? So hopefully one or other of those dates will be available, workable for her and Mr Baker, who are the 2 officers who would be supporting that. Thank you.
If I think...
This is your last go.
Oh, no, that's all right. That's all right. I wasn't going to have any more goes for the rest of the evening, but I saw the clerk glance at me when he talked about the neighbourhood plan having to be in conformity with the joint local plan. That's no longer true. The neighbourhood plan has to be in conformity with the national planning policy framework. If it happens that the joint local plan agrees with the national planning policy framework, that's fine. But if it does disagree, we are no longer bound to follow the joint local plan.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we need to bring planning to a close so we can move on to other things. Barry, finish us off.
I rise for the last time. 3:11, the next meeting, which is on Monday, the 9th of March at 6:30. Please note that the date, or the day has changed on here. Everybody is very welcome, as always, and it's becoming more and more involved. So, on behalf of the council, I would say thank you to everyone for turning up. We're so pleased to see your interest. It's good to see you here again. Thank you.
Right, thank you to Councillor Ward for dealing with item 7. We now move on to item circulated for information only. Item 8, service reports. To receive for information the following service reports. Little 1, General Manager's Report. These are enclosed in your papers. Any questions to the General Manager about this? Can I ask if we've received the rest of the grant money yet? When it says it should be here by the end of February?
Yes, we have.
We have, excellent. And the total grant that we got was something like £444,000 for this project?
249 from National Lottery Heritage Fund and 195,000 from Historic England.
Thank you. Any questions to Councillor Munro, please?
I attended a Tavistock meeting last week, and the crowdfunding will go live at the very start of April.
Thank you for that. Right, so can we note those that paper then, please? Move on then to the pannier market report. There's 8(2). Gives you dates of farmers' markets for the rest of the year, what's happening for the rest of the year in the pannier market and Bedford Square events. Anybody go to the silent disco? Thank you. I did see some photographs of it, which looked quite interesting. Okay, so we can note those then, please. Thank you. Move on then to the Works Department report. Can I ask the General Manager a question about dog fouling and dogs off leads? We pay some money to West Devon Borough Council for the poop scoop stroke dog ward, and that's what it says in our budget, £4,700 a year. Are we able to get them to do anything about the issues that we're experiencing with dogs in the meadows and on our land?
I was going to email the leader of West Devon sometime this week just to work out who, or find out who the key officer is to liaise with at West End Borough Council, just talk about next steps.
Thank you. There have been problems with dogs in the meadows for quite some time, and yes, I can see. Yeah, and I think if we can get some action on it, that would be good. Councillor Moody, please.
Madam Mayor, just for information, I don't know whether the General Manager may be able to tell me. I'd been contacted and asked, did I know anything about red circles around dog poo? It's not one of our, it's not the town councillor who are defining where the dog poo is, or is it some concerned resident?
In some of the areas, yes, it is. That was part of a media campaign that was agreed between Town Council and the Borough Council to highlight the issue, and we just need to work out next steps now.
Thank you. Any more questions or comments on the Works Department report? So can we note that, please? Move on then to 8(4), Town Hall and Butchers Hall report. Thank you. A nice succinct report with some more dates in there. People to put in their diaries of what's coming up. Things to celebrate in the town. Let's hope for some good weather. Thank you. If there's no questions on any of those service reports, we'll move on to 9, Finance and Other Matters. To receive for information the following: report of the Administration Office, which is enclosed. I think the invitations are out for the Civic Ball, so it's time to get those replies in if you haven't already done so. Any questions or comments on this, please? No, thank you. So we'll note those and move on. Thank you. 9B, West Devon Borough Council report, Councillor Reid, who is in the back of the chamber. Thank you. It's good to see you, Councillor Reid. Welcome to the Town Council.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your report. I don't know if anybody's got any questions for Councillor Reid. Councillor Parker, please.
Yes, Councillor Reid, I very much respect your view on your position as a member of the DM committee, not voicing any opinions. Of course, that doesn't stop you asking questions.
Well, you weren't saying nothing again.
Sorry?
Well, you weren't saying anything else.
Did I really? No, I don't remember that.
He's got a reprieve.
Can we
he
move
has a
on,
reprieve,
please?
especially
Thank
for
you.
me.
Yes.
Because we're both Grahams.
Yeah.
What more do you need?
Indeed. Yeah, as I say, it doesn't stop you asking questions.
Indeed not.
Voicing opinions.
Indeed not.
Thank you. Does anybody have any further questions for Councillor Reid? Thank you for this comprehensive report. Graham, did you wish to say anything just briefly?
No, as long as people are, I've been fairly assiduous on the 2 reports I've done so far to make sure you've got appropriate internet links. I also thank Councillor Moody for assisting me in the preparation of this report. He told me where to look to get the right information. And as always with all these things they're moving on, I thought it quite important to include the details about rateable values. I'm not sure if that sort of thing gets into the public domain very readily, so I've put it there specifically to help make sure that people in the business community here in our town, because clearly just walking up and down the road this evening, it is depressing to see so many empty shops, and we also would be keen at any level to do something about that. Otherwise, I thank you for your time. If there's any more questions, otherwise I'm due at a meeting 20 minutes ago.
Right, thank you, Councillor Reid. I don't think there's any more questions, are there? No, thank you for your report. It's good to have it. Thank you. We move on then to item C, to receive any update from or questions to council representatives serving on other bodies in connection with the work of those bodies. Can I report that it is the AGM of Tabby Rail here in this chamber on Friday evening, starting at 7 o'clock. Anybody would be most welcome to attend that. Hopefully it'll only be about an hour. Thank you. Well, the AGM won't be an hour, but they've got a further business meeting afterwards. So, but you'd all be most welcome to attend that. Anybody else have any updates from groups? Councillor Smith.
Yesterday I attended
Thank you. It's good to get some recognition for the hard work that happens often behind the scenes to deliver services in the town, and it has been a lot of hard work. Thank you. Anybody else have anything to report? No? Feedback from members following their attendance at any training sessions? No? Okay. No report from the Devon County Councillor this time, so we move on. Item 10, to receive such communications or reports as may be submitted by the Deputy Mayor. I have none. Urgent matters brought forward at the discretion of the Deputy Mayor. I have none. Move on then to item 12, which is public bodies admission to meetings. Councillor Mrs Ewings, please.
Move to part 2, Madam Deputy Mayor.
Thank you. And Councillor Moody, are you seconding that?